Hell has frozen over, Ronnie. You thought you got rid of me. You thought I'd gone. You thought I was done. Nashy seat, not as warm as you probably thought it was. I'm back. I'm better than ever. Let's get into it, Ronnie. Chargers Hoops TV. Just when you thought you got rid of me, I'd come crawling back.
Just hang on. You haven't got the facts right, JB. You had your review meeting. We've rewritten up your contract. You're demanding so many perks here that we've had to accept it within the budget. Now you're back. Let's get on with the show.
This is Chargers Hoops TV.
Well, JB, Friday night saw Diamond Valley in town, and let's start with the women's game, of course. Hobart getting the win in that one, and a great crowd in attendance as well too. What were your thoughts on the game?
Massive game, massive crowd, really crucial for the women as well, Ronnie, coming off a win on the road, having won 2 of their last 3. You know, they've built a bit of momentum amongst themselves, you know, and a lot of conversation, you know, around the team with, well, we've only won 2 games. Well, no, a bit more of a positive spin on that. Won 2 of their last 3, looking for back-to-back home wins, and things did start fairly shaky. I know a really big run. Diamond Valley were out by a 12-2 run. That managed to be 4-12 until unfortunately an injury to the leading scorer of the Diamond Valley Eagles saw her go down, and that meant you know, Diamond Valley had to find other sources of scoring. Essentially, thankfully, for the Chargers, they were able to quell that, and that tandem that we spoke about, Ronnie, Angie Tompkins and Paige Bradley really leading the way and getting things done. The girls managed to settle into the second quarter, really got things clicking in the third, and you know, halfway through the fourth quarter, it was all but over as some of the younger players, the local Hobart players, managed to get on, get a few minutes, and have some contributing minutes as well. Final score in that one saw 93-66 in favour of your Mackay Timber Hobart Chargers, and what a game, as we mentioned. Paige Bradley and Angie Tompkins. Angie Tompkins top scoring, 35 points and 17 rebounds, and Paige really chasing that triple-double there. She finished with 18 points, 8 rebounds and 9 assists.
And after the game, we caught up with head coach Dwayne Davey.
Happy as ever. Let's see what he had to say.
Yeah, definitely much better feeling, I guess, than what we were experiencing earlier in the season. You know, and I think it's a testament to the work that the girls have done, and the way that we sort of turned the corner at the halfway point now, and you know, 2 wins in a row and 3 out of our last 4 is, you know, really pleasing and a good reward for them. So really happy for them. To be honest, the spirit in the group and the resilience that they've had over the year has been really impressive, and I've said that a few times this season, but you know, it's been really amazing for the difficulties that we've had, the number of losses that we mounted up early in the season, for them to stay positive and to keep showing the spirit that they've shown, I think is really remarkable, and something, I guess, as a club, we're really proud of. So it's really pleasing.
And also after the game, we caught up with Mackay Timber Hobart Chargers import player Angela Tompkins.
She's been an absolute superstar for the club this year, one of the 5 best players when she's on song. Let's hear her interview now.
Yeah, you know, we're just happy we got the dub. You know, that's all we want is the W. That's it. I feel like we are now all coming together, and as you can see, we're starting to play well together. You know, I'm here to perform. You know, so you know, I thank Coach for trusting in me and the team trusting in me to do what we got to do to win games. I feel, you know, just aggression. You know, I feel like once one person shows it, everybody shows it, and I feel Paige showed that aggression today too, and then the whole team fed off of her energy. So yeah, we're all just feeding off of one another. Once one of us down, all of us are down. If one of us are up, all of us are up, you know? So, you know, I thank my teammates for sure.
And of course, after the women's game, Ronnie, the men followed on, and a really tough performance to follow on with. The women with a dominating win, crowded, built to almost capacity there at the Sports Centre. How did the men go? How did you see it?
Well, it was a massive game for the Chargers and a big crowd in attendance as well too, JB. 5 players in double figures, but they led this game from 0 to finish. And what a game it was, you know, controlling it from both ends of the floor. Ollie Angerstein having a great defensive presence out on the floor. Harry Froling continuing to do what he does best and, you know, really tick over the scoreboard. Jared Bairstow chipped away as well too. Jacob Richards went 6 of 6 from the field as well on that game and had a great night out. And great to see, again, a lot of young local talent really working hard and getting their deserved court time out on the floor too. So head coach Anthony Stewart will be quite happy with this win and really puts them in a great spot now on top of the ladder as well too, and continuing that winning streak as well. So Hobart again dominated against a very undermanned Diamond Valley side. We probably must admit that Diamond Valley were down a few players due to other commitments as well too, but Diamond Valley scrapped hard and fought hard and at times really kind of tested Hobart, but in the end Hobart just kind of runned all over them and got the win in the end, 100-71.
Massive game there for your Mackay Timber Hobart Chargers. We caught up with Coach Anthony Stewart after the game.
Let's go to that interview right now.
Oh, it is, and expected against that group. Diamond Valley have been hit pretty hard by injury and lost a couple of players as well on top of that. So it was always going to be an expected comfortable win. So nothing out of the ordinary there. A special shout out tonight too to Jack Stanwicks and Jacob Richards. I thought there's a couple of ways they can go. Jacob's had to come off the bench all year, but he's really now pushing for a starting spot. He's just gone to another level after his injury and operation early in the season. So credit to those two guys in particular that really brought some energy onto the floor in that first quarter.
We also had a chance after the game to catch up with Jack Jumper superstar Jared Bairstow, who's been having a lovely season with the Mackay Timber Hobart Chargers.
He certainly has, JB. Let's go to that interview right now.
I mean, with every game that we play, this is pretty well a new team. By the time you add in Jamar coming in the back end of this, I've only played a few games coming into it, so we're getting better every round. I think we've got enough talent to go a long way in this team. We've just got to get better every week and by the finals be where we want to be. Yeah, it feels good. It's nice to sort of have the reins off and just have a bit of freedom in what we do. Stewie's really good about that and says, you know, go out and jack it. Just go have fun with it. And I mean, he obviously wants you to play defense and lock in on all the little things, but he gives you a lot of freedom to play. And in the off season, that's exactly what you want. You want to just be able to go and enjoy it, and at the end of the day, get wins.
And on Saturday night, JB, we were back at our old stomping ground at the Hobart Netball and Sports Centre for the first time since about 2016, since the Chargers had played at that venue. And of course, in the women's game, it was a bit of a scrap and a bit of a dogfight, as I described it to one Clara Wisher post-game. What were your thoughts on the game against Knox?
I have to echo those exact thoughts, Ronnie. It was, a tough grind-out war of attrition would be the best way to describe the game of basketball. 7-13 at quarter time, and as we mentioned on broadcast, don't adjust your screens. You are looking at the halftime score, 13-20. And yeah, it was just shots weren't dropping for your Mackay Timber Hobart Chargers. Great looks, 9 times out of 10, they just couldn't fall. Defensively, you know, there was a lot of size about the Knox Raiders, and they were able to contain what I would call a smaller Hobart lineup. We do have a lot of size, obviously, you know, through Macaulay and certainly through Angie Tompkins, but unfortunately, they just weren't able to counteract. There was a really great spread of length across the court there for the Knox Raiders. Second half became, you know, a bit of a battle as well, and a lot of emotions floating around there late in the third and all through the fourth quarter. Unfortunately, Chargers weren't able to get over the line there, and the Knox Raiders came away with the win, 50-33. Alicia Froling, the only double-digit scorer across the entire game there. I believe she finished with 18 points. Everyone else on both sides in single digits, and you know, that's a game that I think the Chargers are going to rue. But again, you know, had a lot of momentum going into the game, and certainly a lot of things they can build from there. You know, they had a really good defensive effort. They really forced Knox to earn their play, and to split a homestand 1-1, or to split any stand this season 1-1, a great accomplishment there by the girls.
And of course, after the game, we caught up with head coach Dwayne Davey.
Dwayne, on his second game in as many nights, fairly tired. Let's see what he had to say.
It was a bit of a grind. Look, when you coming into tonight that we were going to have to step it up to another level to compete, and you know, to be honest, we did defensively. We were really good, really happy with our effort defensively, but we just weren't able to go to that next level on the offense. You know, probably had obviously our lowest scoring game for the season, and you know, our lowest shooting percentage. So when you score 33 points for the game, irrespective of how good your defense is, you're going to find it really hard to win. So a bit disappointed, but you know, the effort was there again. You know, and to back up after last night, you know, we can't be too disappointed. But obviously, it would have been nice to pinch that one. There's a recognition of the work that they've done, but I think they're a little bit disappointed in themselves. So I think we felt that we could win that. So there's a bit of disappointment there in that way, but it's not there's no deflation of, you know, we recognise that we're in a bit of a a good patch. And tonight was a good game when you look at it that way. But yeah, we just couldn't score the ball, and when you can't do that, it's hard to win.
And also after the game, we caught up with Chargers up-and-coming young player Leah Bartlett.
Leah had her best basketball ever for the club this weekend. Let's hear what she had to say.
Yes, it was a tough game. Obviously, we were on a good roll. 3 of the last 4 games we'd won, and then tonight it was obviously a tougher game. We just had difficulty scoring, but obviously our defensive effort was really good. Yeah, well, and that's it really. Obviously our defensive pressure was excellent. We just couldn't really execute on the offensive end. That happens. You're always disappointed with a loss, but yeah, it's been really good. Obviously the tail end of the season for us so far has been so much better than the start. We're just getting some reward for all the hard work we've put in.
Well, what was an exciting game on Saturday night, JB. The men's side really took it to Knox, and again, really good in very quick bursts, getting the crowd up and about. AJ Harris with those quick couple baskets, and then Ollie Angerstein with that big dunk to get the crowd involved, and Jack Stanwick's also getting involved as well too. Again, it was good, quick little spurts. And Knox had to call timeout after timeout to really try and reel this one in, but at one stage the margin got to 31 points, and then all of a sudden Knox were able to find their way back in it and get down to 17, which absolutely infuriated head coach Anthony Stewart. He was not happy with his troops in just playing this lazy tactical up and down basketball. But in the end though, Hobart able to get this win off the back of Harry Froling with 30 points and Jared Sandifer also too had 18. He's been very consistent throughout. And then of course, AJ Harris chipped in with 15, and as we mentioned, Angerstein, who's a crowd favourite at the moment, and every time he dunks, JB, the crowd are just getting up on their feet. They're giving him a standing ovation by the sounds of it. But he had a really good game as well too. Maybe not the big impact that he usually has, but he still certainly had an impact as such. But now this Hobart team are rolling. They're 2 games clear of Mount Gambier on top of the ladder. And with Sam McDaniel still coming to this lineup, JB, Hobart are right now a very dangerous side. But they took care of business in this round. They go 2-0 here at home. Sets them up nicely going into the road trip next week.
Post-game against Knox, caught up with Anthony Stewart, who had to be relieved with that win.
That was a big one. Knox, 7 losses. They're right in that pack where they're hungry for playoffs. So that's a big loss for them. They had to come in here and try and get us done, and I think we've helped the Thunder out a little bit, trying to bring them back into the fray as well. So you don't want to be in that mix. You lose a couple of games and you're back there, and we've got a massive road trip. Bendigo Geelong next weekend. Bendigo's the other hottest team in the league. I think they've won 8 or 9 in a row. They're playing Sandringham right now, who are probably the favourites. And then we've got Waverley, Sandringham and Northwest. So we've got our run sort of starts now to see where we'll end up. And if we can sneak a win out next weekend, hopefully 2, but 1 would do me, that'll really set us up for a top 4 spot. I suppose it's really important right now we've got our full complement, to be able to rest those guys a little bit as well. Ollie's been pretty banged up all year, having to carry the bigs. Same with Harry. Well, right now they're playing 25, 30 minutes, and that's where I want them. We talk about Ollie and Harry and AJ and all these guys, Jamar, but look, I could not be prouder of Jacob Richards and Jack Stanwicks right now. It's usually your 6, 7, 8 men that are going to determine that. So they're coming on, we're losing nothing, we're actually gaining traction. And I'm quietly confident we'll do well. The big challenge now is to introduce Sam Mack back into the group, who how can you keep an Australian player out of that group? So look, we've got our work cut out, but yeah, we've come out here and we want to try and win a championship and go to a national finals, and that's what our focus is.
And of course, Ronnie, a big weekend from Jacob Richards. Went 6 of 6 on the Friday night and contributed really nicely as well on the Saturday night. We managed to catch him post-game against Knox.
Let's go to that interview right now.
Yeah, it was a great win. We played well, we rebounded, we played hard. Yeah, I've done a lot of work on my rebounding. The coaches have challenged me a lot this year to try and get my rebound count up, so that's what I've been trying to do. Yeah, it's been tough. We've had a lot of road games, playing 2 back-to-backs, Saturday night, Sunday afternoon. It's been really tough on the body, but we stay prepared. Yeah, just playing my role. If they hit me when I'm open, I've got to make the shot.
back here at the Chargers Hoops TV studio, and it would not be possible without our great sponsors in season 2022. Of course, McKay Timber, The Gap, the Greyhound Adoption Program, and Ronnie, your favourite app, everyone's favourite app, the What's On app.
Yes, the What's On app. I've got it here, JB. Hey, make sure you look out for their videos on this app as well too.
They've got videos?
They certainly do. They've been out and about filming and getting great content. So I say check it out right now.
There you go, check out the What's On app.
Made by nature, created by innovators, supplied by McKay's, your home of Tasmanian timber.
Finally, Ronnie, at the end of the show and heading into another big week of basketball here for your McKay Timber Hobart Chargers. They're heading on the road. They're taking on Geelong and Bendigo. That's going to be a tough trip.
It's going to be a really tough trip for both teams, JB. It will certainly test to see where, especially where the men's team are at trying to hold top spot at the moment. As I mentioned, they're 2 games clear at this point in time, where the women, again, will be playing with nothing to lose and playing for a lot of pride in round 13 of the Colts Express NBL 1 South season.
We hope you've enjoyed this episode of Chargers Hoops TV. We will see you next time.